Carolyn.
Hey, yeah. I'll take all three, unless, somebody else may want one.
I got plenty.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. Well, obviously, I want to dedicate this reading to Jack Poet, who has, I don't understand it, but somehow brought together my poetic life. This is Bill Perrault's picture taken in March.
Yeah.
And I think it's like prayer. It's like, anyway, it's very important. Yeah, it's very hard to say. Almost all those things that happened to me, a lot of them came through Jack, or that I should be standing at the Charles Street Universalist Church and look on my right, and that's Allen Ginsberg. Well, he was there because he knew you. Isn't that right, Jack?
Okay.
Yeah, it never would have happened to me except you were his friend.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, and that was when Raphael de Grubler had brought forth a book of the jazz poet Steve Jonas, and so this was a reading from that book, and you and Raphael together had arranged that, and I thank you because it was my first time, and then my second time was you said to me, "You may do anything you want." And I said, "Oh my God!" And so I didn't know what to do. And so I took this poem, "Vicious Heatherless Harsh." Well, what it was is it's storm, and of course I know nothing about Old English, but it's storm in Old English, and I did the whole thing in my own version. And because you said, "I may do anything I want," and suddenly I was able to do something that I had never done before. Yeah. Well, anyway, I was very serious one night at the Hayes Bickford. I sat always under the no loitering sign, and this time I really. Well, I thought I was going to write a book, okay? Well, very often I think I'm going to write a book, and so that night I said, "Tonight is my book." Now, unfortunately, the beginning of this is not here. I only published. Now, this you see was published by Jack with very great pain and difficulty to put such a book together. He did, and. Anyway, this is the end of what the poet expects of himself. An essay. Myopic and with a sense of wonder, the poet descends into the darkness. His vision is only as long as the channel that he digs. His myopia in darkness will teach him by touch the universal laws of existence. On reaching water, if he reaches it, he will, as it were, break through to the source of communal perception, and light will stream into the dark channel of his personal discovery. This is the moment of the voice. This is the beginning of what the poet expects of himself. Or herself. Good Lord, you can tell anyway, let's see. I was in Colorado, and Tammy Mutu said on the phone, "Now, Carol, send me 14 pages on Marion Moore." I said, "What?" Well, I hardly knew. I had heard her once, and I hadn't understood her at all. I mean, I didn't understand the meaning of that being. I understand now. But I said, well, I know what I'll do. I'll make something really short and inconspicuous. because it'll be like a little footnote and nobody will notice it. And, well, this is for Marianne Moore's 77th birthday by various hands, edited by Tandy Mutu in New York. He was in New York, but he had also edited Poetry London, New York. He had also edited Poetry London in London before he came. And so he's got various, well, like Richard Eberhardt and Stanley Kunitz and Amir Chakravarti, the East Indian sacred individual, Allen Ginsberg, let me see, Vernon Woolf, well, anyway, Kathleen Rain, Richard Wilbur, etc. So, anyway, how was I going to sneak into this? And this idea of the 14 pages, really. And so I did 3 lines. And I thought, well, nobody will see these. To Marianne Moore, she who had hoped to be a painter gave to us a printed flower, animate with quiet power. But this footnote is across from John Hersey, who wrote The Wall, and that's very not exactly how I intended it. But no, I'm thrilled. Okay, for the next 30 years, thrilled. Let me see. Oh, well, anyway, I have to do this to our outrageous friend, Jane Wodening. John, my husband and I, we went out to, we went in January 2001 to the Calico Jig. It's supposed to be that people lived there 100,000 years ago, which messes up all the timetables of everybody. And the only person that believed in it was Louis Leakey. Well, anyway, and he directed it for 7 years. Absolutely sure that these were authentic blades from 100,000 years ago. Anyway, this is my poem to Jane, who is our good friend, living on a mountain way, way high. Well, when she does live there, but she did fall in love now with somebody. That means she's come down, and she's in Denver. But she still keeps the mountain cabin. How many feet high? 10,000 feet high. The dog walked out on her. He decided to find a more convenient place to eat. And that really was upsetting for her. Because, you see, the only visitor she had was a bear who came when she was going off to do an archaeological dig, and he came in and ate all her food, and even put his claw across one of her books that she had written, and the publisher went off with it. Anyway, this is Jane. Wandering Wodening, to Jane Wodening. I think you are, wild cat, curled as serpent, bare at heart. God of wisdom, hands of perception running like lightning over the edge of the rock. The blade hewed 100,000 years ago. Lone gatherer of people who build your cabin on the mountainside. You break the sound barrier with animal consciousness. Your laugh, dynamite against the cliff of waiting avalanche. Yeah, so we did climb up on that really scary part. Oh, she said, this is where I'm going to build my guest house. Ugh. It was all these waiting avalanches it's a courageous guess to go to that guest house. Actually, it was falling apart as she created it. I think perhaps it wasn't going to last She was married to Stan Brakhage, the filmmaker of Dog Star Man, the pioneer in film. Anyway, I keep trying to understand war. Our swords are obtuse tongues lashing our human family without remorse. Tongues made for the laughing of young ones. We do not know what the cruelty inside us stems for. It may be to avenge the cruelty perpetrated upon us since the birth of the first speck of life on earth. My fingerprint is as big as a house, as I see it. While those who look down from their high towers cannot see a thing. Oh dear. Jack, your messages are muffled, but your underground rivers of awareness are pure as gold. Oh, and then this refers to Jack in the March 6th photograph. You live in the prayer of your being. I think of Rabindranath Tagore's words after the Nobel Prize and actually years later. He said, "My bag is empty. All that I had to give I have given." But Jack, your bag is full. You're given all this stuff.
God's bless.
Oh, there's this girl. She's trying to help me by putting everything on a, people use computers and things to type. So everything looks so in order that I hardly recognize it.
That's good.
The golden wheels of flowers in the fields are turning as the distant suns are spinning. She sentences them so beautifully. Oh, each girl soaring like a seed of milkweed in the wind is pinned down and planted in a patch of earth. Really very long ago. Anyway. Oh, well, the scarred child. So these few lines come out of the 36-page poem that arrived in 4 hours in 1966, and tremendous experience. Oh, hi, Bill. I can see you. Scarred child. Scarred child, the tough blister of your skin keeps out all love and locks the being in. Anyway, I salvaged 4 lines out of those 36 pages. I've been asked to write about a dragon. Well, I'm not used to being asked. But anyway, so I think it's for a children's thing, 2nd grade, and I'm scared that this is all I'm going to write, and they're waiting for some huge outpouring. But I looked at the dragon. It's from the Museum of Fine Arts. Oh my God. I'm afraid I got that book there. Okay, I'll tell you I did. It's the Chinese prints at the museum in one huge volume. And the sight of that dragon on the cover. Dragon, I ride you in the wind. Your intelligent fire scourges the earth for the bare bones of truth. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Well, it was Jack, of course, that put me together with John Wieners at the City Hall. And it was so different. And we tried to meet in the square, but it was like we were different worlds. And I met him first at the Steve Jonas meetings. Steve Jonas, the jazz poet, and Raphael de Grutler was there, but he's known Steve for years and years. And John Wieners was there, and Garrett Lansing, the poet of magic and history in Gloucester. And when Steve would read his poems, he would laugh and laugh and laugh. He really enjoyed his poems. And then he said, oh, with poems, you don't have to send them out. I mean, people come and get them from and publish them. But that's not a good piece of advice that he was giving. It was fine for him. So this is to John Wieners, and it's in the Out of the Blue, Writers Unite, edited by Deborah Priestley and Timothy Geiger. To John Wieners. You are the shattered star choking on interstellar dust. You have come through millenniums crashed by 1,000,000 planetary bombs. You leave us a calligraphy of iron filings. We are deciphering, and we are deciphering those enigmatic stones. Someone else here has written a poem that really Wieners in Heaven, or wherever he's located, Jack wrote a poem about him that's so much better, and it's so human. And I had this feeling as I'm reading it, that Wieners can't stand that poem that I wrote, okay? But he loves the poem that Jack wrote. I'm sorry, Jack, I didn't think of it, but you should read it. Okay. Now let's see. Maybe oh, in front of me. Anyway, yeah. Well, here's one that Jack sometimes reads in my behalf. I mean, in my behalf, but it's my poem. But he sees it as penetrating something important in my life. The dark bowl. In the dark bowl of my soul danced a very slight light. When I blew off my lid, I blew out the light. When they came to my aid, they bent over the brim, extending their candles to light me again. Oh, good Lord. Well, no, we're certainly not going to get into this one. Let's see. Just the beginning. Oh, just a little tiny bit of the beginning of Peace Fire. I guess the way Peace Fire began was, let's see, we did a Kerouac reading, and then after it you had the, what's his name? You had, he's a saxophonist, incredible saxophonist. What's his name?
I remember it.
Anyway, and the day after I woke up with this, we are not going to do it, you see. But anyway, I'll just do a little bit, tiny bit of it for Peace Fire, and that was published in Bomb magazine. Oh God, who has let us live long enough to cross the bridges of being out of darkness into the curved light. We shall crack open the churches, and out of that point of cleavage shall spring the jack in the pulpit of the human spirit, blown through by the winds of God. I am placing my foot on the flesh of the human heart, and I shall rise to the proportions God gave me. My dance begins, but the ballroom is eternity, and the light is forgiveness for this human race, unable to be kind to the animals of its own species. So, shall I? Yeah. Maybe I've done it.
Yes.
That's right.
So, a little further here. Oh dear. Crack through to the essence of existence, and you will find yourself with wings waiting for the rise. The wine pours straight from the bottle down my throat into the fire of my entrails. I cannot maintain this show anymore. The false face that is not myself I have been forced to share since birth. I am a dancer on the field of time, and no one shall take from me the right to whirl the colors of my dress, except for death itself. Oh God, whose is that?
Who's that?
Somebody's camera.
A camera fell
Just
off.
Jack's. I think it was Jack's.
I'm sorry, Jack. That I finished your camera.
I think you only took a picture of it.
Let me see. Just
That was an
okay.
exciting.
Maybe that was the conclusion. Well, anyway, I'm going beyond the conclusion. Okay. This one is to John, the walking stick. We did a lot of hiking, and we always get there just as it's getting dark, and so we have to figure out certain methods of getting through. The walking stick to John. To John. At home, at one, in woods we wander, the walking stick guiding us between branches, along paths, along ridges of mines. We lie through scared nights, our breaths drawn up into sunlight. We mount mountains. We look down, collecting. We look up by sunlight, by snow light, by snow spectrum. Our feet can find by dark the feel of path, by night the crease of land, our hand in hand.